for all of my visual learners out there, we're gonna do an example budget, just some numbers that I came up with out the blue, and we're gonna plug it in together so you can see what a budget will look like when you do yours. Now, everything that you see on this spreadsheet may not apply to you. You can either leave it blank or you can just delete it out altogether. Step 1, you need to know how much money you have coming in. In this step, you wanna add together your income, salary, side hustles, and other investments, things like that, and etc. So let's say somebody is making $3,600 at their job. They have $866 coming in from side gigs. We're gonna leave all the rest of that blank, but just stay with me. So this next step is very important for the people that's not good at math. All you're gonna do is take your mouse, click down on the first number that you have in the column, which is job 1. You're going to go down to your last number. Ours is going to be that 866. And if you look at the bottom right hand corner, what do we see? We see that the sum here is $4,466. So what you're going to do now is take that number, you're going to type it in as the total monthly income. Now I'm quickly going to show you that it really won't matter if there's any spaces. I just put in $50 right here just as an example, and you can go right here and look, it's going to give you the sum no matter if it's blank or not. So now that we have the total monthly income, it is time for step 2. Now step 2, understand your expenses. Any bills that you pay every month, this be like your rent, your utilities, your water bill, your gas bill, whatever the case may be, you want to make sure to include all of this in the spreadsheet. Expenses is going to be your money going out. So let's go ahead and say that you know that you have to pay $1,400 for rent. Let's say your water bill is $166, electric bill $180. Let's say your gas bill is $30. Renter's insurance, let's put that at $50. Car payment $350, because hopefully it ain't too high. I know a lot of people got them high car payments. Insurance, let's say it's $185. Health insurance, $300. Dental insurance, $100. Garbage, $60. Phone bill, $100. Let's say you pay somebody $90 every month. You got a pest control person come in. Your internet bill's $100. You got pet insurance, let's just say it's $30. If it applies to you, make sure you fill all that stuff in. Let's say you're paying $70 a month for life insurance, and you go to a gym and you got like Netflix, all of that good stuff. Let's just say that's $150 altogether. So we're gonna do the same thing we just did, highlight all of those numbers. So the total amount for the expenses is gonna be $3,391. So what you're gonna do is take that same number where you see total fixed expenses, and you're gonna type it in. The reason why this step right here is so important is because if you forget some bills that are very important and maybe very costly, you can easily be over budget and cause yourself to overspend. A thing that I think a lot of people might find helpful is just looking at the last 1 to 3 bank statements that they've got, so then they can see where all their expenses are really going. Another very important thing that I think helps is trying to keep all of the expenses in one area. For example, just spending on one account. So when you're trying to figure out what all you're spending money on, you're not looking at 5 different accounts, because that makes it very hard to make a budget. Next category is going to be things that kind of tend to fluctuate month to month, but we really don't have an exact number, and that's perfectly fine. But we're going to just kind of guess. So let's say every month, for groceries, you spend $800. For gas, you probably spend about $180. Let's say that you have some hobbies, or like, I don't know, maybe even you go out to eat or something every now and then. Let's just say $150, right? Say you like to splurge on yourself a little bit, so you give yourself about $200, right? You might have some meds that you need to pay. Let's do $100 for that. Let's just give $80 for anything unexpected, right? So the total for the variable expenses ends up being $1,510. So you're going to put that where it says total variable expenses. Like I said, you want to look at those bank statements, because that's going to make all of this very easy and more accurate based off of what you really have going on for your personal finances. But let's go off of the numbers we just gave for this example. Now, the next thing we want to make sure we do, this is very important. We need to add together the variable expenses along with the regular expenses, because like I said, the variable expenses are the things that are fluctuating month to month, but the regular expenses are the things that you know every month, like, hey, this is pretty much what it is. All the money needs to be accounted for. So we said that we had $1,510 as a variable expense, and as a fixed expense, we had $3,391. We just add those numbers together, and if you don't want to add it together, you can just make another column and put those numbers in right next to each other and then highlight them. It'll give you the sum, but I just went ahead and used my phone calculator, and the total we end up getting is this, $4,901. Step 3, we want to calculate what is left over after all of the expenses. Now this is where the magic happens. We're going to input those numbers one more time. This wasn't even very hard to do. Anybody can do it, y'all. be encouraged. Once you get all the numbers input in there, you can just go in and tweak stuff. You'll know what is going on with your personal finances, so you can make a good budget, so you know what you got. So let's do it. Y'all, in the description of this video, I'm going to have this exact same spreadsheet listed there, and you can use it for free. I just want you all to get better at budgeting and understanding how to put yourself in a better financial situation. But if you really want to do me a favor, you can hit like and you can hit subscribe. What did we say the income was earlier? We said it was $4,466, right? Now we know what the total expenses are. Now at this point, we're not going to be able to do the sum by highlighting. You're going to have to get out your calculators, y'all. You're going to do 4,466 minus $4,901. And in the remaining funds, this is what you want to put what it tells you. I don't care if it's negative or positive. The number we got based off of this example is negative $435. Now, hopefully when you do your real budget, you are in the positive, but in this example, this person is in the negative. And if you see after you do your budget that you end up spending more than you're earning, this would be a good time to self-reflect and say, hey, where are some areas that I can cut back? Or even say, hey, I might want to pick up a side hustle or pick up another job or pick up some more shifts, whatever the case may be. So then you can increase your income so you can have more money left over for whatever it is that you would like to do with the excess money. Now, it's kind of good that this example worked out this way, because then we say, what can we do? I actually like that this happened. Let's go up. Let's look at some of these variable expenses here. So let's go ahead and just play around with some numbers here. Let's just say for 1 month, you say, hey, I'm not going to get myself anything because I'm trying to cut back, right? So you're not going to spend $200 on those clothes. And instead of spending $800, you say, I'm going to spend $600 on groceries. So you're going to cut back on spending money going out and hobbies and things like that, right? So you're going to say, hey, I'm just going to give myself $80 instead of the $150 we had just a minute ago. So when you made that adjustment, it ends up giving you $1,040. So let's just go ahead and put that in there. So now we have $1,040, and then our other expense, which is our fixed expense, we have $3,391, right? Which would bring our total amount of total expenses to $4,431. So we're going to now adjust that to $4,431 down here. Now, after we made that adjustment, this actually left us with a positive dollar amount of $35. Now, a lot of y'all probably be like, what I'm gonna do with $35? Did you not see? We just went from being negative, because a lot of people would have put that on credit. They'll start after paying, Klarna, swiping the credit card. But now we have $35. I'd rather look at this and be like, all right, this is a budget that I can work with, or finagle some numbers, than be like, oh no, we got to run up the credit card or whatever the case may be. Another way that you can get that number up is, what if you just made more money? What if you weren't making $4,466 a month and you were making more money? The one thing I would like everyone to understand here is that it is very important to pay attention to what you have coming in and how much you're able to keep. That is the most important thing I want you to take away from this, is how much money can you keep in your pockets? We just finagled some numbers, and if you have the discipline to stick with the plan, you can make it happen. But if you are looking at this and saying, hey, this isn't enough money, I got too many expenses, I got too much this or too much that, what does that mean? It either means, one, you're going to have to start spending less money in some areas, cut some things out, or two, you're going to have to make more money. There's no other way for this to happen. A lot of people like to try to first cut a lot of their expenses down, which I see nothing wrong with that. That's a good place to start. And if that still is not enough for you to reach your goals, you may have to find more income. The important thing here is to be honest, so then you can reach whatever your personal finance goals are. Now, I'm no finance professional. This is stuff that I've learned along the years of me trying to be better with my money and my finances, and things like this have really helped me out with my personal finance, but I'm no professional. So if you need professional help, go see the professional. For example purposes only, let's just say that the numbers ended up saying that you had $800 left over after all of the expenses and your income, right? So we just put in 800. Now, what I personally like to do is to kind of operate in a zero-based budget. That's where after you have come up with your budget, you try to figure out a place for each dollar that you have. That's the best way I can put it. So you either would do something like putting it in a savings account, or you would spend it on fun money, like going out to eat, investments, brokerage accounts, high yield savings accounts. Maybe you want to go travel or do something like that. So you would start allocating the extra $800 that you have left over to these things, and it would zero out. So you don't want to leave any money without a cause, if that makes sense. What a lot of people, I think, end up doing is leaving the $800 in their checking account, and you can totally do whatever it is that you want to do. But for me personally, I don't like to do my finances like that. I like, if I see any money just sitting in my checking account, I don't want it just in my checking account. I want to put it in something that could maybe make me more money, like the S&P 500, or my brokerage account into some individual stocks. Maybe I put it into a high yield savings account because maybe I want to travel or do something like that, but I want it in something a little less risky, but still growing. These are some good options to consider, and every dollar has its purpose. I did go ahead and put entertainment and dining out fun money. Maybe you're like, hey, I would like to get better with building my financial security. So you're going to allocate $500 of it, and you say, hey, okay, about $300 that's left over, I'm going to have some fun with that. Otherwise, what may happen is you blow the whole $800 and you're just like, I don't know what happened to the money. It's because you didn't have a plan for the money. That's something to think about and consider whenever you're going over these budgets and spending money. Was that in the plan? And if you don't want a plan, that's your prerogative also too. But if you want to be better with money, sometimes you have to be a more intentional spender and be more intentional with your budget and be more strict. So a few other things that I think could be very helpful is just remember to be very honest and be as accurate as you possibly can. Because like I said, any unexpected expenses can very easily get you over budget or throw off your budget and have you overspending. And we don't want nobody in debt. Y'all make sure you hit subscribe because it's free. And then also make sure if you need a budget, go down below in the comment section. I'm going to have this exact same spreadsheet. You can edit it and make your budget and come back to the video if you get lost. We have to start making better decisions today in order to have a better future.